Hey there, it's CJ Willie, and today is Labor Day. What better way to rest from working on Labor Day than opening up some Magic the Gathering? I have in front of me a Theros pre-release kit. This kit was released all the way back in 2013 when original Theros hit the Magic the Gathering world. I have the green-based pre-release kit. I'm going to open it up, take a look at the contents, crack the packs, and then come back and show off what deck I would have put together if I was participating in the pre-release event. Let's go ahead and get this cracked open. Okay, it came with a nice card talking about Path of Might. And then on the back, it gave a little bit of information about the different architects that you could play with green, either green white, green blue, green black, or green red. I probably would want to go green white because of the heroic ability. It's pretty cool. And then during the pre-release event, had a little bit of a quiz to test my knowledge on Theros. And then an ad with Elspeth. Take your next step at mtgheroespath.com. And then this card, the Hunter, was an in-game thing that you could play. Promo pack. And the other 5 regular packs of Theros. Spin down die. Let's move this out of the way. Maybe move it up top here. About right there, maybe. Alright, try to get a lucky 7. 14. 7 times 2 is 14. Move the dice off to the side here. Kind of organize this a little bit to make it look okay. Put the Hunter up there. Go ahead and get cracking into the packs. I think I'm going to do the seeded pack first. And I believe that each of the pre-releases had the same pre-release rare. This one features Anthusa Cetessan Hero. Anthusa. Put her on top. Fade into Antiquity. Bow of Nylea. Strong legendary enchantment artifact. Each of the Theros gods had one of these. Set the rares up here. Then move through the rest. Frika's Mender, Nylea's Emissary, Sea God Revenge are my uncommons. So it looks like it's kind of pushing me to green blue a little bit. The rest of the pack has quite a bit of green, but features some other colors as well. So the commons right there in front. Okay, dig into the packs. Hoping to pull a Mythic God, maybe a Thoughtseize, maybe a Swan Song. God's Willing, great card out of Theros. Move into the uncommons. Phalanx Leader was a strong uncommon in Theros draft and sealed. Ordeal of Perforos. Each of the gods had an Ordeal. And Psychic Intrusion is the rare. Not green. Forest and an ad card. I didn't go to the pre-release event for Theros, but I did play some sealed with my friends. Original Theros was a pretty fun set. Okay, into the uncommons. Dissolve, great uncommon in its time. Hero's Downfall, strong rare that made a lot of decks and constructed. Recently was downshifted to uncommon in Innistrad Midnight Hunt, I believe. Could have been Crimson Vow, not entirely sure. Foil Lash of the Whip. Set that right there with the foils. A mountain and a soldier token. Another God's Willing. Don't mind getting that as a common. Gray Merchant of Asphodel. Probably one of the strongest commons in the set. Can win games. Tormented Hero. It's the first uncommon. Horizon Scholar. Looks like I got another foil hiding out back there. Prowler's Hem. And 100-handed one, featuring the monstrosity mechanic. Erebos' Emissary. Uncommon foil. A Plains and an ad. Alright, 2 more packs to go. Still looking for a really bomb rare or mythic rare. Ordeal of Erebos is the first uncommon. Cragmail Warcaller. Minotaurs were a fun build-around deck. I had a black-red Minotaur deck for quite a while. Fanatic of Mogus was a strong devotion-based Minotaur for that deck. And Ember Swallower is the rare, with a Forest and a Boar. Okay, final pack. Let's pull something good, some sort of a mythic. Another Phalanx Leader. Ordeal of Perforos. Ordeal of Nylea. And Artisan of Forms is the final rare out of this pre-release kit, with the mountain and the soldier token. Not quite sure where this pre-release kit is going to take me. I'll go ahead and clear off the playmat and be back with a deck that I would have put together if I were participating in the pre-release event. Okay, I'm back with the deck that I would have built on pre-release. It ended up being green-white heroic with a little bit of monstrosity thrown in. I think I've got a pretty good curve in creatures from 1 all the way up to 5. Early drops that I have are going to be Sedge Scorpion, which is a 1/1 death touch, really rules the ground game. Then I have Hopeful Eidolon. What I like about this creature, I could play it as a 1/1, or I could bestow it, which is going to trigger heroic and give that creature +1/+1 a lifelink. Voyaging Satyr is going to help me with land. As I tap land, I can untap it with Voyaging Satyr. And then my first heroic creature, Cetizen Battle Priest, going to gain me a little bit of life every time I target it. Moving up in the mana curve, I've got 2 Phalanx Leaders. These are going to be the backbone of the deck. If I can protect them, keep them on the battlefield, every time I target Phalanx Leader, puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature that I control. Opaline Unicorn is there mainly to help me with mana. If I need green or white in a pinch, I can tap it and get that mana. Nessian Courser, just a 3/3 for 3 beater. Moving on to the big hitters. 2 Staunch-Hearted Warrior. Each time I target one of these creatures, it's going to put 2 +1/+1 counters on them, being a 4/4 for 4, or hopefully a 6/6 or an 8/8. Nylea's Emissary, another bestow creature, so I can either play it as a 3/3 for 4, or I can wait till later on, put it onto one of my creatures, getting it +3/+3 and trample. 100-handed one is a beater, 3/5 for 4, make it monstrous, and then it can have reach and block an additional 99 creatures if I need it to. Anthusa Cetizen Hero, a 4/5, and whenever I target it, up to 3 of my lands can become 2/2 warrior creatures until end of turn. So another way to close out the game with activating my lands as creature. And finally, Setessan Griffin, a little bit of an overpay, 5 mana for a 3/2 flyer, but later in the game I can dump mana into it and make it a 5/4 flyer to close out the game. On the spell side, I think, combined with my bestow creatures, I have enough to trigger off Heroic. I have a fight spell, so hopefully it will take out one of my opponent's creatures because my creatures are getting bigger. Feral Invocation is a great flash in enchantment, gives my creature +2/+2 and triggers whatever heroic ability it may have. Or Deal of Nihilea, gets counters on my creature, targets it, triggers heroic, and can get me a couple of basic lands in a pinch. And Chosen by Helioid enters the battlefield, gives a little bit of extra toughness, but what I like is it allows me to draw a card, basically replace the enchantment. And then rounding out, God's Willing is a powerhouse, protects my creatures, allows me to scry, dig a little bit deeper in my deck. I know enchantments are going to be running around. Fade to Antiquity is going to help me get rid of a pesky artifact or enchantment. Say like Boa and Nihilea or one of the other God's legendary enchantment artifacts that are hanging around out there. Boa Nihilea is one of my favorite legendary enchantment artifacts. Gives my attacking creatures Death Touch, so my opponent won't really want to block. Allows me to get in a bunch of damage. And then the activated ability for the bow is pretty cool. For 2 mana, 1 and a green, I can tap it, either put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, which triggers heroic. It deals 2 damage to target creature with flying. I can gain 3 life, or I can take 4 cards from my graveyard and put them on the bottom of my library. Helps me from getting milled out as well. Anyway, that's the deck I would have run on pre-release if I was participating in the Theros pre-release. Take some time in the comment section to tell me what you think about my pre-release deck. Until next time when I'm back to crack some more Magic the Gathering.